Good morning, all. I am Aayesha Shervani, Assistant Professor, B.Ed Department, IIMT College of Science and Technology, Greater Noida. Today, I am going to deliver a lecture on idealism, which is the oldest philosophy. So, let's begin. What is idealism? Idealism is a very old philosophical thought which has exercised a potent influence on the mind of man throughout the ages. Even in modern times, idealism has certain attractions that appeal to the human mind and thereby exercise a great influence on human thinking. The word idealism is derived from two distinct sources, the idea and the ideal. Idea means true and testified knowledge. The word ideal stands for the perfect form of an idea or ideas. An idealist does not have consideration for material values of life. A thinker who idolizes mind and self is an idealist. Now let's have a look on some of the definitions of idealism. According to J.S. Ross, idealistic philosophy takes many and varied forms, but the postulate underlying all is that mind or spirit is the essential world stuff, that the true reality is of a mental character. D. N. Datta say that idealism holds that ultimate reality is spiritual. According to Harold Titus, idealism asserts that reality consists of ideas, thoughts, mind, or selves rather than materials, object, or force. Now, the metaphysics of idealism. The self is the primary reality of individual experience. Ultimate reality is self. Ultimate reality may be one or many. The individual self has all the freedom. Now, the axiology of idealism. Values are real existent. Evil is not real existent. The value of human life are what they are largely because there are individual persons to possess and enjoy them. The individual person can realize value by actively relating parts and wholes. Now, the epistemology of idealism. The ultimate knowledge is the knowledge on spirituality. Idealism and critical realism are like in their treatment of perception to some extent. Some idealists support direct experience of the self. Surrounding world is important to experience the self. Reality to be logically unified total system, a universal mind. Now the philosophical position of idealism. Reality is essentially mental and spiritual and not physical. Nothing is real except that which exists in the mind. Ultimate reality lies in a realm transcending phenomena. The essential nature of reality lies in consciousness or reason. Actions should attempt to approximate some pre-existent ideas of right conduct. Some characteristics of idealism. God is supreme source of all the principles that state its characteristics. God is only source that possesses all knowledge. Mind and soul constitute the reality of life. God is the creator of human being, which is his best creation. Human beings are spiritual and mystical in nature, consisting of spiritual powers. The knowledge, sense, insight, mental attitude, or wisdom of the human beings determine the truth of life. Physical universe or materials are virtual and fragile. Only God and Spirit are true, immortal, and eternal. Spiritual values are perpetual, static, and imperishable. Spiritual world has more importance than the physical world. Idealism supports and elevates human character. Unlike animals, human beings are not the creation of the environment. Reality exists in mind, not in the physical world. Rational enlightenment is the source of true knowledge. Knowledge, beauty, and wisdom are the perpetual and essential values of human beings. Idealism is the unity of diversities. Idealism favors moral education rather than the common education. Now, the principles of idealism, which are two forms of the whole world. Idealism believes in the two forms of the whole world, that is, spiritual world and material world. Idealists give more importance to spiritual world in comparison to the material world. They believe that spiritual world is real and the ultimate truth, whereas the material world is transitory. According to Horn, idealism holds that the order of the world is due to the manifestation in space and time of an eternal and spiritual reality. Ideas are more important than objects. According to idealists, knowledge of mind and soul can be obtained through ideas only. Hence, they have given more importance to ideas over the objects and material or later. In the words of Plato, ideas are of ultimate cosmic significance. They are rather the essence or archetypes which give form to cosmos. These ideas are eternal and unchanging. Importance of man over nature. To idealists, man is more important than material nature. It is because man can think and experience about material objects and material phenomena. Hence, the thinker or the one who experiences is more important than the object or the phenomena experienced. Man is endowed with intelligence and a sense of discrimination. Thus, man is not a slave of the environment as animals are, but he molds and transforms the environment for his own good and welfare of the society. Faith in spiritual values. According to idealists, prime aim of life is to achieve spiritual values, truth, beauty, and goodness. These spiritual values are undying and permanent. In pursuit of these values, man rises higher and higher in the moral plane till he attains divinity. For the achievement of these spiritual values, all the capacities of man are to be harnessed to the full. These capacities know feeling and willing. Importance of personality development. Idealists give much importance to the self of the individual. Hence, they insist upon the fullest development of the personality of an individual. According to idealists, the development of personality means achievement of perfection. Full support to the principle of unity in diversity. Idealists give full support to the principle of unity in diversity. They believe that is of spiritual nature. This may be called universal consciousness or divinity. Idealism and aims of education. Self-realization. According to idealism, man is the most beautiful creation of God. It lays great stress on the exaltation of human personality. It is self-realization. The aim of education is to develop the self of the individual's higher self till self-realization is achieved. It is, in fact, making actual or real the highest personality of self. Universal education. Education, according to idealism, should be universal in nature. The universe is regarded as a thought process. Education should be based on teaching of the universal truth from the standpoint of rationality of the universe. Spiritual development. Idealists give greater importance to spiritual values in comparison with material attainment. According to us, education must enable mankind through its culture to enter more and more fully into spiritual realm and also enlarge the boundaries of spiritual realm. Transmission and promotion of cultural heritage. The aim of idealistic education is the preservation, enrichment, and transmission of culture. Education must contribute to the development of culture. It should help in enlarging the boundaries of spiritual realm. Cultivation of moral values. According to idealism, man is essentially a moral being. Therefore, moral, intellectual, aesthetic aspects of his personality should be promoted. Preparation for a holy life. Idealism prepares an individual for a holy life. Froebel says, the object of education is the realization of a faithful, pure, and hence a holy life. Development of intelligence and rationality. Idealism wishes that education should develop the mind fully. It makes the person rational as well. Only the highly developed mind can understand the all-pervading force. The idealists believe that education must help in the full evolution of mind, the emancipation of spirit, self-realization, and the realization of higher values of life, and to train the whole man completely and fully for manhood and not some part of man. Now, the impact of idealism on education. Idealism and curriculum. While developing curriculum, idealists give more importance to thought, feeling, ideas, and values than to the child and his activities. They firmly hold that curriculum should be concerned with the whole humanity and its experiences. It must consist of humanities. The curriculum should give good mental experience of all types. So, cognition, affecting, and cognition should find due place. Science and arts should be taught as fully integrated. Since the main aim of education, according to the philosophy of idealism, is to preserve and advance the culture of human race, so subjects like religion, ethics, philosophy, history, literature, etc. should be provided in the curriculum. Healthy mind is found in healthy body only. So health, hygiene, games and sports should find an important place in the curriculum. Idealism and teacher. Idealism assigns a special role to teacher. It considers teacher as a spiritual guide to the child. The teacher serves as a living model for the students. He sets the environment in which education takes place. The teacher guides the child with such genuine love and affection that he attains his full mental development. An idealist teacher is a friend, philosopher, and guide. Idealism and methods of teaching. According to idealism, classroom is a temple of spiritual learning, a meeting place of human mind, and a place for self-education. For this, no particular method has been suggested. However, following methods have been advocated by different idealists, such as learning through reading, learning through lecturing, learning through discussion, learning through imitation, and Descartes employed the device of simple to complex. Idealism and student. It is a belief in idealists that the student has to develop an unlimited soul from the limited one by adopting regular instructions so that the student achieve eternal powers. Idealism and discipline. Idealists want that the student should be under discipline. They also believe that there will be no development of spirit in the student if discipline is not acquainted. Idealism and school. A school is considered as a place where the students develop their mental abilities and values through proper guidance and regulation of the teacher in order to achieve high spiritual principles and knowledge. Idealism suggests that the disciplinary environment of the school and proper guidance of the teacher should essentially be present for the overall spiritual development of the students. Some merits of idealism. Idealism is the most ancient and comprehensive philosophy, and its contribution to educational thoughts are profound and solid. Idealism has given higher place to mental and spiritual qualities than to the physical world, so that man can lead a peaceful and content life. Thus, the aim of education is the perfection of the individual. Idealism leads to the spiritual insight and to the highest moral and spiritual conduct. Idealism lays stress on self-realization, which is essential to acquire knowledge relating to the spiritual world. It guides us to simple living and high thinking. Idealistic philosophy prepares us for both heavenly life and life on earth. Idealism contains the highest knowledge, that of self or divine, cosmic or spiritual life that leads to the freedom of life. Idealistic philosophy gives importance to the development of human personality, which results in a fresh look at human relations in teaching. It makes the educational institutions places for learning and creating values like truth, beauty, and goodness. Idealism determines the path of many educational philosophers. It has been supported by great philosophers of the world who have put it into educational practices. Idealist philosophy emphasizes religious studies in order to foster character development of the child. Idealism warns against the view of treating the human being as machine. Idealism holds that every man must receive a chance to be educated. It emphasizes universalization of education to form a better society. Now, the demerits of idealism. The aim of idealistic education are abstract, a figment of imagination, and impracticable, and are difficult to achieve in this functional world. Idealism neglects the psychological nature of the child and is inclined towards spiritualism. Idealism ignores material world and stresses on spiritual world. This philosophy becomes imaginary and does not work in the modern scientific world. Idealism philosophy assigns too much importance to teachers and places them next to God. It asserts that the teacher gives the child second birth. It treats the child as slave. Idealism leads to a rigid and often totalitarian social order. The child is kept under strict discipline. Idealists follow different methods of teaching according to their own interests. They fail to have a significant method of teaching. Idealists regard the highest values, such as truth, beauty, and goodness, as permanent and immortal. But in reality, they are not absolute and may change with time and environment. Idealism pays less attention to physical, industrial, social, and electronic environment, which are essential for achieving socio-economic developments. Idealists do not take note of the individual differences and special abilities of pupils. Idealist philosophy emphasizes humanities and neglects the study of science and technology, which occupy a very significant role in modern education. Now, some of the proponents of idealism are Plato, Augustine, Descartes, Kant and Hegel, Tagore, and Gandhiji.